Shawn Ford is the superintendent of the Purchase Line School District. He joins us on the line this morning. Our conversation is brought to you by Marcus & Mack, a law firm representing injured people. Shawn, good morning.
Good morning, Todd. How are you?
Wonderful. Good to have you with us here today. We checked the agenda for the school board meeting last night. It was a pretty busy meeting, a lot of things to cover. And you get to the month of May, you know, you've got budget to talk about and an approval of the preliminary budget. You've got personnel moves that you're considering for the coming year. You're starting to work on agreements for services that will be offered to the district and by the district in the coming year. It's a busy meeting, isn't it?
Yeah, always. It's actually always one of the busiest meetings of the year. Actually, April, May, and June are your three busiest board meetings of the year, usually. So, but absolutely, you're closing out one year and you're planning for the new year. So it's kind of, you're kind of overlapping on what you're approving at board meetings.
Year to year, of course, you are looking at a number of different items for a school district. How did we do in the past year? Did we meet our financial goals? Are we in good, solid financial shape? What do we need to do about a spending plan for a new year? Are there needs within the district in terms of infrastructure, buildings, and things of that nature? And I think one of the things that we don't pay as much attention to is school districts also have to, in many cases, either get negotiating on new contracts for some of their employees or finalize agreements. And for Purchase Line, that's the case as well, is it not?
No, absolutely. The first part of your comment there, we've had here, we've got a water issue problem at the high school and potentially at the elementary, and we're spending upwards of $300,000+ preparing to fix that. Probably a long time coming. So we've got that. We're putting a new track down next year. So the capital, just out of the capital reserve right there, you're talking $500,000+, and so those are things that we weren't anticipating. The water, we were anticipating the track. That was in our plan. So you have these things that pop up like that. So absolutely. So that's the first part. As far as contracts go, we're currently negotiating with our support staff, and that contract ends on the end of June here, and so we're hoping to get something done here by the end of June with our support staff. All the other contracts at this point are in place.
Yeah, well, you talked about the water issue and those unexpected expenses that come up. In that case,
yeah.
That's a pretty substantial thing. You don't have that much money just laying around in a desk at the school district.
No,
so you have to address those financial issues.
Right. We have, I'm going to say this goes back, even before I was here. You put money into your capital reserve fund for times like this, and then we work off of a long-range plan of projects that we evaluate every year. But there's always something that happens like this, and the bottom line is it needs fixed, and we're going to fix it. So we approved that last night, actually.
When you look at the school budget for the coming year, the preliminary plan in place, pretty satisfied with where the district stands?
Yes, we still, I always say it's a preliminary, and we get that passed. We have to, we follow the law on that, and then we'll spend the next until June, really, and we actually back that meeting up a little bit. So, we'll spend the next month looking at it and then presenting to the board, where we're at. But overall, it looks good, and you're projecting, we're still dealing with the ESSER funds for a couple of years, and so your projections. That makes it interesting to try to project into the future because you're utilizing ESSER funds. So you still got to almost put the ESSER funding over here on a side and still look at how's our staffing, how are we looking how's our enrollment, and so you still have to look at those things, but yet understanding that you have a little bit of buffer because of the ESSER funding. So
and at the same
that's
time,
kind of where we're at.
The kids are they just know that I get on the bus, I get off the bus, I go to school, and then I go home. So for them, those concerns are not really at the front of their mind. They're finishing up an academic year, and I know that folks have been working really hard. There are PSSA tests that they've been dealing with, and all of those still go on. So let's talk academics at Purchase Line and the way that the year has gone. The kids, I'm sure, are looking forward to stretching out a little bit, aren't they?
No doubt. We just finished the PSSA. We actually sent those back, so those are all we're all done with that. We're finishing up our Keystone exams over the next couple of weeks, and then naturally we get into end of the year. We've got finals coming up for our secondary students, and then we just have a number of trips going on, from elementary field trips to senior trip to, and I always say it's fast forward and moving quickly until you get to June 2nd. You have your graduation. So and then everybody takes a deep sigh, and the students are off and running for the summer, and the teachers, everybody's taking a deep breath in. So.
Yeah, absolutely. And then you'll work on maintenance of the building over the summer, get all of those things taken care of. You look at electronics. I know those ESSERS funds help with that, don't they?
Yes, that was a tremendous. We were able to fast forward. We had a 5-year plan of going 1-to-1, and now we're actually we use the ESSER funding for that, and we're actually going to start into our rotation already of putting new Chromebooks in, and so no, that's been a tremendous help to the budget, to the district. No doubt about that. That we've increased. Matter of fact, we've actually ordered things, and the supply chain is so real. We've ordered things over a year ago that we still don't have in from an electronic perspective. So we're still waiting for stuff to come in. So
yeah, well, the whole world is right now. Shawn Ford, superintendent of the Purchase Line School District, is with us this morning. I wanted to ask you about this because we talked about it earlier. The various ways that kids are educated today can include academies. They can include charter schools, and I know for Purchase Line, there's been a big step forward in those types of offerings. Where do we stand right now? How has it gone in this year with Purchase Line from a charter school angle and from the various efforts that you've undertaken? Because it's been a major undertaking for Purchase Line.
Yeah, we had nothing, and so we've put the Purchase Line cyber school in place, and it's I'm going to say this: it's much better this year than it was last year. And so we've learned a lot, we've gained a lot of knowledge, and our teachers are better at delivering online material, online courses, online learning than they were even a year ago. Have we arrived? No, we haven't arrived. We're still a traditional public school used to being in brick and mortar. So that's going to be an ongoing training and getting better and learning at that. But we are much further ahead. We have plans into the future. We want to continue. We're going to look at our new student information system and our learning management systems going into the future. So we're going to continue to tweak to make that as best we can. What we envision is a student at Purchase Line, not only for our full-time kids who have done cyber, but also how can we utilize technology in the current classrooms to better our students and better prepare them for the future. So I just read a report yesterday, Todd, that said that you have to prepare kids for the virtual world they're going to be in, and jobs are going to be in that virtual world. Yeah. So we have to do a good job of preparing students for that.
Absolutely. And I know that there's been a big effort to emphasize STEAM and STEM, or however it's referred to now at the elementary. For Purchase Line, that's really been a big thing this year, hasn't it?
Yeah, we're it is. It's been great. Our kids have responded really well to that. We have our coordinator, our STEM coordinator, has just done a very good job, and she's just a constant learner. Our kids are learning, and again, we're going to get better at that every year. We found out this year what worked in programming, what didn't work, and what can we do better. I'm a firm believer in continuous improvement, and you've never arrived. You constantly push the envelope. So.
The journey continues.
That's how I'm wired.
And the journey continues for the Purchase Line School District. And you need to have that kind of forward thinking as well. And I like that idea that we're on the way. We're never going to quite be there. There's always going to be some improvements to be made. But that's the way that you grow.
Right, and that's how you get better than anything in life. Whether it's me in leadership and reading and attending conferences and saying, how can I be better this year? And really, that's the challenge I have for my administrative team and really throughout the district. How can you get, if you get a little bit better each day, then all those little wins and those little gains at the end of the year, they add up and say, wow, we've made a lot of progress here. But it's the daily grind of improving every day. So.
Absolutely. Well, Shawn Ford has been with us here this morning on Indiana in the Morning. We're to the spring of the year. The weather is finally warming up. Shawn, today, why don't you take off the shoes and socks and go let your toes wiggle through the grass a little bit?
I'm not sure what people would think if I did that.
Well, they'd be talking, wouldn't they?
Oh, yeah, that was good. I'm outside wiggling my toes through the grass, and probably thought, if truth be told, we probably all need to do that every day. So.
Yeah, you're right about that. Shawn Ford, thanks so much for visiting with us this morning. Appreciate it.
All right, you have a good day. Thank you very much.
All righty. It is the voice of Indiana County, WCCS.